Is it possible to manifest a better singing voice? Don't worry, this isn't going to be a hippy-dippy magic unicorns and elves type video. It's going to be very practical, and it's going to help you become a better singer if you learn to understand and apply what I'm sharing with you. Now, maybe you've heard someone talking about or seen a video where someone's talking about the law of attraction, basically putting your energy into the things that you desire and that you want, rather than putting your energy into the things you don't want, right? Like attracts like, bad shit attracts bad shit, right? My wife is definitely into the more energetic, spiritual, esoteric version of this. However, I'm very practical. I'm very hands-on type person. I've basically got to hold something for it to be real, and if something's going to happen, in my experience, I have to make it happen. I have to be the one that makes it happen, right? And that's how I'm going to look at this in this video. If you've ever felt like there is just an extra element, something that you're missing, beyond exercises and sounds and routines and courses and singing lessons and putting the time in and turning up to the woodshed, if you've kind of always felt like, or you started feeling like there's just something you're missing with this whole thing, this video is for you, because there is something you are missing, absolutely. Something that I was also missing when I took singing lessons for such a long time and really didn't see any progress. Let me give you context first. Then we're going to double back to relate this to singing. And then I'm going to give you a really, really simple exercise that I still use to the day. Really, really simple exercise that I use to the day to apply this in my singing. And it's something that has really ensured that I continue seeing progress as a singer and continue learning. I don't think you ever get to a point as a singer where you just know everything and you can do everything. There's constantly light bulbs for me, and I'm constantly learning things, and I really think it's down to this process that I'm sharing with you, right? Let me give you context. Let's imagine that there's a guy who's constantly saying he never wins stuff, right? I'm just not a lucky person. I don't win things. I don't win competitions, right? Most likely this person doesn't enter competitions, right? Because they think they don't win, so then they don't win. Self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Basically puts a full stop at the end of this. I don't win competitions. I also don't enter them, but I definitely don't win them, right? One of two things happens. Either they don't enter competitions because they think they're not going to win, or they get what's called confirmation bias. Basically, they do enter competitions, but they enter competitions that they are not likely to win. They enter the 90 million Powerball with a 0.0000000th of a 0.01 chance they're ever going to win. And then they're like, see, I didn't win. I play, but I don't win. Instead of entering the raffle at the local pub, which is for a meat tray or $50 or a free dinner or something like that. There's only 12 other people in the running. You really could win this. They don't enter that. Funny, isn't it, right? Basically, your brain is looking to learn something from this. You're looking for an experience which confirms what you think. This person thinks they don't win things, so the brain is looking and creating an experience where they don't win things, right? If they went to the meat raffle and won that at the local pub, that would challenge their whole existence, right? That would challenge reality and what they believe, right? We can't have that. The brain doesn't really get the difference between good and bad in this sense, right? It's exactly the same thing as singing. If you're convinced that you're a bad singer with a shit voice, you're going to be a bad singer with a shit voice. Not because that's a reality, but that's because the choices you're going to make. You're either not going to take singing lessons or not take it seriously. You're going to watch maybe YouTube videos, but you're not actually going to invest in it and take things seriously like a professional, serious singer would. Or you are. You're going to take singing lessons. You're going to watch YouTube videos and you're going to try things out. But the whole experience is going to be colored by this bias that you have that it's just not going to work for you, right? You're almost looking for it. You try a new mixed voice exercise or something. You're like, see, there it is. There's my break. This isn't going to work for me. And your brain puts the dots together, and that's how we learn things. Basically, repeated experience becomes a lesson. It doesn't necessarily become the truth. It's not necessarily a fact. It becomes a lesson that your brain thinks you want to learn. If you continually burn your hand on something, burn your finger on something, you're not going to touch it eventually, right? This is the very, very simplified Neanderthal process that's going on in your brain, right? This is one of the main reasons it's so important in singing, because you are the instrument, right? If you play trumpet, the trumpet's your instrument. It has no other job other than being a trumpet on the shelf during the day, right? But you are the instrument as a singer, and you have many other jobs. Your brain has many other jobs. Your voice even has many other jobs throughout the day, right? There was a really fantastic ad about 1 million years ago that was I think it was set up as an IQ test or something like that. This is an IQ test. It was a road safety ad, I believe. And there was a bunch of basketball players on a basketball court, passing a basketball around, and they're like, right, this is an IQ test. It's really important that you count the amount of passes between this people, right? And you're like, okay, really, really focusing on this. I'm really clever. I got 17. What's my IQ? But at the same time that the people are passing the ball around, there's a dude in a bear suit moonwalking through the middle of the basketball court. to the point where you actually rewind it back because you're like, man, that's superimposed. That wasn't there. Oh, lo and behold, it really was there. You were so hyper-focused on this basketball being passed around that you don't see the dude in a bear suit moonwalking through the middle of the basketball court. This is your reticular activating system. This is how we hyper-focus in on any given task or that we're focused on. When you're driving a car, you're not counting the birds in the sky, are you? Your brain literally filters out that impertinent information for the more important information of keeping your car on the road, right? Now, if you're constantly telling yourself these things like, I always break, I'm a singer that has a vocal break, I don't sing well, I always strain, the RES thinks that's what the task at hand is. Like, I'm someone that breaks. That's my experience. So the brain filters out everything except for that experience. Even when you try new exercises, new sounds, new courses, new singing teachers, the brain shows you that same experience. And I see this all the time in singers. I would take them through a very simple process, and they've told me, oh man, I'm going to break doing this. It's going to sound like shit. I'm going to break, right? Take them through the process, and they're like, ooh, oh, there it is. See, I told you, right? They're basically looking for it, and they've completely missed the point of what I was trying to get them to do. It's like, that was not the point of the exercise at all, but that's what they're hyper-focused in on, right? You've seen this on YouTube. You've actually seen this on YouTube in action. I'm sure you've watched a really fantastic video before. It's happened to my videos before. So you watch a really fantastic, great video that you get a lot out of, and you're like, man, this is awesome. I can't believe this is free. This is life-changing. This is crazy. You go and leave a comment saying how great it is, but then the comment below yours is someone saying, this is absolute bullshit. I hate this guy. I hate this guy's face. And you're like, hang on. Did we watch the same video here? This was fantastic. This changed my life, Because your expectations and your attitude really create the experience or color the experience you have. The dude that left the bad comment thinks that it's not possible to learn how to sing and that voice coaching is bullshit, or that people on YouTube don't share real advice, or whatever their problem is, whatever the video is you're watching. The person that got a lot out of it, they're expecting something great out of it, and they get something great out of it. They put their energy into what's important to them as opposed to putting energy into negativity, right? They literally don't see it. Now, a really, really fantastic exercise that I give to every single one of my students, it's also in my courses as well, is when you're doing anything. I do attach this to a very specific exercise we're going to go through, but when you're doing anything, whether it's singing songs or it's doing exercises, whether it's watching YouTube videos, everything you do, you need to find 3 positives in what's just happened. Even if there's a complete car crash or something, quite literally, if something bad happens, you get a gigantic bill or a fine for something, right? There is something to learn from this. It's not a negative experience because there's something positive. What positives can we take out of this giant fine or bill that I've gotten right now, right? So let's say you're a singer that breaks between head and chest voice. You've tried this before. You've tried the drills. You've tried lip drills. Your voice always breaks, right? First thing we're going to do, we're going to find falsetto on an ooh sound, right? Ooh. Think about the sound of an owl. Ooh, 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 ooh. Like a ghost. Ooh. This sound in the back, right? Doesn't have to be a rock sound, doesn't have to be good, totally fine, right? Let's move the center of our tongue up and forward and turn it into a front vowel, more like oui, like a French sound, oui. So we're going to go, right? We're going to bring this down to chest voice. Right? Maybe that didn't work for you. And you're going to be like, see, no, it's just another exercise that doesn't work, right? What were the 3 things that went well, right? Maybe you went, that's totally fine. My voice can do that as well. Your voice can also connect. You just haven't worked it out yet. Number 1, you found the backspace, right? You found that hollow sound in the soft palate. You found your front vowel. You've learned that you can sing a front vowel and that you can change and receive the sound. This is what we were talking about in the last video. Number 2, you've differentiated between head and chest voice and the feeling of stretch and tension within the vocal folds, tilt, and contraction of the vocalis, of the actual vocal folds themselves, right? So next time we do this, don't even focus on connecting. We're just going to descend from that top sound and make sure that we find the space in the back, the front vowel, and we find that stretch and the contraction within the vocal folds, right? Ooh, hey, I connected. Maybe it didn't connect for you. Maybe it broke again. Again, tomorrow, do the same thing. Focus on the 3 positives. Go to a new exercise. Find 3 more positives. Then stack them together. Then you're doing this exercise with 6 positive things that you are searching for, and then you don't find one. And then you're like, hang on, I need to find that thing. I need to find that front vowel or whatever it was. And then you find the actual solution to the issue. This is a game changer. I know it's not exciting. It doesn't have a spectacular fancy term like open throat or something like that you can't, pinpoint exactly what it is. This is a process that I use to the day. So let's say you're singing a vocal line, right? Say you're singing a Dio song. Let's go extreme, right? When there's lightning, it always brings me down. Right? Say you're singing that and it goes, when there's lightning, and you get that kind of thing. And you're like, see, I'm a shit singer that, I can't connect head and chest voice and it breaks and I'm a bad singer and it's, people who can sing that are tenors and blah, 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 all these excuses that I used to always say as well. Let's focus on the 3 positives from our connection exercise. Which ones did we find? Right? So I felt that when there's the sound, I felt that space. Didn't really feel it on the first word, didn't feel it on the top word. Let's try that again and go for that backspace, right? When there's lightning. Again, maybe it didn't work for you. Maybe a different part of it broke. Okay, what was our next thing? Okay, which one of those are appropriate for front vowels, or which one of those are front vowels? When there's lightning, right? Let's find that. When there's lightning, it always brings me down, right? Whichever ones are front and back vowels. We also need to find the stretch within the vocal folds. Are you just powering through that in chest voice? Did you find that stretch and tilt within the vocal folds? And there you can see how vocal exercises become very practical, in a practical sense. This is actually how we sing vocal lines. We take the feeling and the positives and the sensations and we build upon them. Get this pyramid of positives that keep growing. Even if the exercises aren't working for us, we're discovering these new things. Try and sing a song. You either identify those things or you don't. Maybe they're not there. Maybe you can't find them. And that's what you need to start working towards. And this becomes a very, very practical process. And all you're doing is focusing on what you want rather than putting your energy into negativity. Like attracts like, bad shit attracts bad shit. And you're basically coloring your experience as a singer with negativity. This has been a real game changer for me. It's very practical. Start using it. Start writing down three things, even from a practice session. You spend half an hour practicing one day. Write down 3 things that went really, really well. Next day, chase those 3 things like your life depends on it and start building on it. What are 3 new things that went well that next practice session? This is going to change your life as a singer. Most importantly, to manifest more fantastic videos like this, hit the subscribe button. We're going to talk soon.